We are live. It is the very first Hangoutlander of season 4. This is our 4th season of Hangoutlander. If you're really keeping up, it's kind of like 5 seasons of Talking Outlander, which is what it used to be called. And we're just here talking about Outlander. It just started, season 4. We're in the 4th season of this show.
How did that happen?
It's been 5 years, 5.5 years. We've been talking about this show, and we are here for another very long season of talking about it every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central if you're me in flyover country, Holla, Tennessee. But anyway, we're glad you're here. If you're watching us online live, you're going to have a great night. We can't wait to talk to all of you. We've had so many comments on the blog, so many tweets, so much stuff going on Facebook. I was like writing down all this awesome stuff that you guys were saying. And I was like, I can't do this. You guys have got to go to our that'snormal.com, look at the post for 401 and read everybody's awesome comments. You need to get on our Facebook group. It's That's Normal. We're obsessed too. You need to join the Facebook group and talk about it there. You need to be on with us on Twitter because I can't keep up with everybody's awesome stuff. You guys have so many good thoughts. But we're here. Every time I see the title for this, I start singing. I have sung America the Beautiful 100 times in the toilet today. My kids are like, stop singing that song. But anyway, I'm here.
I was yelling that too at the screen.
Yeah. I'm having a beer. And I'm hoping not to get too drunk because I want to be coherent this evening. Everyone needs to introduce themselves. Nikki, you start. Say hello.
Hi, I'm Nikki. I'm gracing you with my pre-voting, pre-conference, pre-travel day hairdo. So thank you. You're welcome for this beauty. I'm drinking this wine, and I'm ready to talk about some Outlander and that song. You go, Julie.
Hi, I'm Julie. I'm also rocking the wine that I just realized said Selfie Queen. It was given to me as a joke, but it was my largest wine glass that I had, so I wanted to fill it. So tonight I'm ready to discuss America, the song, green screen usage, all and everything in between. Go ahead, Amy.
Hey, it's Amy. I'm drinking a green drink. So if you guys want to Photoshop like Jamie and Claire hanging out in this, that's cool. I'm actually drinking green drink because I realized that I've had 2 egg sandwiches and a bowl of grits today, and that's it, and not a single vegetable or piece of fruit. So I am drinking my vegetables. Like kale, killer kale or something like that.
I was about to ask, what's in your green drink?
Well, it's pre-made because I'm too effing lazy to make my own green drink.
No judgment.
It's the Naked brand. I think it's kale.
Oh yeah, the green. I have a couple of those.
Green Machine.
Green Machine. Those are good. Yeah, I have to mix the Green Machine and the berry one with ice because they're too thin. I like them to be a little thicker.
You like it thick.
I do like it thick. Anyway, I want to start out talking about this as not just an episode of Outlander, but as a season premiere, because I really felt like there have already been 4 season premieres. We had episode 1 and then episode 9 of season 1, which acted as kind of a premiere on its own. And then there was, of course, 201 and 301. And they just kept getting better. I mean, I personally like episode 209 as it's one of my favorite episodes ever. But the opening episode for season 2 was really, really strong. The opening episode for season 3 was super duper strong. And then in comparison, as a premiere, for me, this one felt a little boring. It didn't have kind of a punch of what the season is going to be about or what it's going to be like. And even though it had good moments, it didn't have like this really kind of like, boom, we're back with Outlander land right now. Enjoy it. So what did you guys think?
I agree. I felt that until the final episode, that final scene, that was like one of those moments. It was like, okay, that's, definitely a boom moment. But I actually felt like it was one of those mid-season episodes. It didn't have the same feel as one of the best, I think, season premieres for me, other than the first season premiere, was the one season 3. I just, every single moment was so good. I didn't think this was, I think I've said it in group chats and everything. I didn't think this was a bad episode, but I wasn't completely excited by the entire episode. So like I said, I felt like it was more of a mid-season episode.
Yeah, it just kind of dumped you in there, which I appreciate sometimes, but it was kind of like, who's that guy again? Why do we care about Hayes? Oh, okay. But why are they starting this entire season with this Hayes storyline? Which, okay, we meet Stephen Bonnet, but really it was kind of like, I don't know. It wasn't like punch and exciting and, big moments like I was hoping for. It took like 3/4 of the way through to get to the story.
Yeah.
There was a lot of talking.
There was a lot of talking.
And exposition that was unnecessary.
Yeah. And if you guys remember at the end of season 3, there was a whole episode with Hayes trying to kill himself on the ship. And we discussed how, on our Hangoutlander, we discussed how they kind of missed the boat on that because nobody gives a shit about Hayes or even like really knows who he is.
Oh, we lost Beth.
Uh-oh. Beth is frozen on that face. I think she was trying to say that nobody gave a shit about Hayes. We're gonna fill in the blanks for Beth on that one. But essentially, I think that notion about Hayes is he was, there was this whole moment in the books about him wanting to kill himself, and then we were supposed to care about him, and I don't know. Yeah.
It gave us a moment to care about Jamie as a leader, and he loves him, and he's going to try to get him out of this, or he's just going to approve of his choice to pay for his wrongdoing. But it kind of just fell flat, especially as like a season opener. It was like, meh. And I think we could have started with something maybe a little more exciting. Maybe just start with that.
A lot of characters thrown at you, like the Hayes. Like admittedly, I didn't finish watching season 3 because I don't like to watch bad television. But I was like, "Who's that guy? Who's that guy? Who's that guy?" And I didn't care. But and I mean, I understood that someone had to be hanged for the purpose of the whole Stephen Bonnet stuff.
Right.
I kept wondering, as a book reader, and since we just reread this, I was like, wasn't in the books, it's summertime and it's hot and everyone's like melting? Like, did they just change the time period so they could have more fantastic like knits and...
It's probably like they were shooting it in Scotland in January, and they would have all died.
There's no summer in Scotland. It just goes from fall to somewhat spring and then back to winter.
Yeah. So, I wanted to see everyone's faces melting. Like, I really wanted to feel like it was Savannah.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, you're like you guys said, it was just like, why do we care about this person dying? But what we got was Jamie as a good person, as a leader, as a man who looks very good in a tricorn hat. And Beth is back with us. Welcome back, Beth.
Hey, I'm sure I missed a lot. I was like super into saying something, and then I was like, everybody's frozen.
What's going on? But honestly, I felt like that beginning, comparing it to season 3's opener and even season 1's opener, if I can vaguely remember season 1's opener, but season 3's opener, we're starting off at the battle or we're starting off with Claire in that road and screaming and where am I, what time period? And so I guess when your expectation, they set the bar that high for a season premiere, it wasn't a bad way of starting an episode. I don't think it was the best way to start a season premiere.
Well, I thought that the 2000 BC thing was hella dumb.
Yeah. It wasn't just dumb, it was insulting. And
it was horrible.
Yeah.
I'm going to just flat out say it. It was just like, is this a preview of what we're going to have this year with...
Oh, yeah. I was like, is this where they're going with Native Americans? Like, is this the look? Yeah. Rough.
I was like...
I mean, it doesn't just... It's not that they looked a certain way that made me took me out of it. Mm-hmm. I was reminded immediately of like the episode, I think it's episode 5 of American Gods, where they have the Native American coming to America part that opens that episode, if anybody's watched American Gods.
Yeah.
And it's an animated thing with these people that have come, over the peninsula, and they bring their gods with them. And it follows a specific like woman who's the head of, who's like the matriarchal clan woman. And she doesn't even really say anything. She just communes with her god, and it's narrated by Mr. Ibis. And you just kind of get this sense of what she's sacrificing to bring her family there, and like how they had to assimilate into the worlds of the people that were already there. But the narrative is different. They're not talking about stone circles, but they are talking about ancient peoples. They are talking about the natives specifically that are in America, and they're talking about the way that they commune with gods and nature. And no one in that particular scene is focused on. We don't see a single native's like actual face by themselves. It's not a narrative for a person. It's just taking a people group and giving them movement and, and fire, basically. Like there's no narrative to grasp onto. And that's what's insulting about it. They're not taking it seriously because they're not giving any of those people any agency about what they're doing. They're just making them look like the Druids in Scotland, making them make rock formations that aren't even as sophisticated as the ones in Scotland. And they gave them no narrative agency at all. They just made them monolith.
Right. The point of that, it was almost like giving, okay, now it's time for a Claire narration about circles. That's what it was. And it was actually, I would have preferred to see the app, like showing us the circles throughout America, already built, already created, just as unique as the ones in Scotland. We didn't need to see that. But the fact is, it was completely just so cringeworthy and just going, no, don't do that.
It's like they just wanted to.
Because she had a good conversation with Stephen Bonnet about circles.
Mm-hmm.
She just repeated herself. So why bother having it?
They just wanted to shoehorn in those things so they could transition into the new song at the beginning, the banjo version, which is clearly means it's the American version of the Outlander song.
All I could think of is when you guys go to like Disneyland and you go to Frontierland and they play the music. Frontierland. That was exactly, it reminded me of when I was a kid in Big Bear Jamboree. Like I wanted a bear to come down and start swinging and singing songs.
That's exactly what it sounds like. It was just, it's a very sloppy, honestly, it's a very puerile, maybe even sophomoric, way to introduce like the circle metaphor that they're going for. It's so heavy handed and at the same time insulting. And it's just like, anybody that thought, go ahead.
Sorry, I was wanting to talk over you. Perhaps giving away later what Roger discovers, which they don't know, you know?
Right.
That's a huge discovery.
She like has the thing in Jamaica, and the fact that he discovers it when he gets there is important. And it would have, I mean, it's not that they couldn't have started something at the Stone Circle in America. That would have been cool. Just give the person who's experiencing that Stone Circle some agency. Don't make it a narrative that just fits your stupid metaphor of a circle with the noose and the wedding ring. And it's even Stephen Bonnet talking about being enamored with circles makes no sense. It's such a dumb metaphor.
It's hardy, y'all. Come on.
I was like, are we really going to be focusing on circles and rings and circles? And I'm so fascinated by them. I would have been like,
really?
Are you trying to sleep with me? What is this? Stop.
I was embarrassed. Are they going to finally pull out the cock ring that we never saw in Dragonfly and Amber? That's a circle I can get behind.
And they're going to talk about a circle, the circle, and pretty much, and how it all comes together. And then they're going to go back to that scene that's just so offensive. So no, it was not a good way of opening up. So like I said,
if Twitter's any indication, they all agree with us because everyone's saying, "Nah, I couldn't get behind it." That was
I don't think
Lachey said, and that's one description.
And that's what I think a lot of people felt about this episode. I don't see a lot of people absolutely. There was a couple of good chats in our Facebook page. If you haven't liked our Facebook page, please go and do so, because there's wonderful chats in there. But somebody did say, I did see a couple. I hate this episode, but I saw more of like, it wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't what I was expecting. And that wasn't necessarily a good thing, but it just fell flat a little bit.
Yeah. Overall, probably.
Right.
I did want to make it, before I left, I was making a point that Dee made on Twitter, which was about Hayes.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was a really good one. I was saying that nobody cared about Hayes when he almost tried to kill himself on the ship. We were all like, who is he? He doesn't matter. And this, beginning the whole season with Hayes dying, nobody cares about Hayes. And she made the good point that you really don't care about Hayes because he just murdered somebody because he slept with his wife.
Yeah.
But like, there's a better narrative arc where we could have cared about Hayes if you understand that he's a man who was in Ardsmere, and then he's transported to America against his will, and he's poor, and maybe he steals something. And that fits in with the plight of the American colonists that seems to be the type of story that they're trying to tell. And how that would have been something that if they had made it a little bit later on in the episode, et cetera, could have given them a little bit more narrative push into the America the Beautiful ending. But instead, they just made Hayes kind of this punk, and you don't even understand why Jamie is so enamored with, his plight or whatever. He killed somebody for no reason. So it's just, it sucks. And I wish that sometimes they thought through the smaller narrative threads would make things a lot better.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And someone else brought it up on Twitter, and I can't remember, but they said, like, why did they keep showing his face after he was hung? Like, they kept going back to his, like, the blood filling his eyes. I was like, we get it. Like, this is a little gratuitous at this point.
I thought it was more powerful when they showed his feet in that last twitch, last, like, jerk of life, and that was it. But that, for me, when they showed that image, I was like, oh, no, oh, no.
But
no thanks.
That was disgusting. The great part of that was Sam's acting, his choices there. He nailed it.
Yes,
I feel like we need to stop. Like, Kate's great. Love her. Kate, Kat, what are we calling her? She's great. But, like, let's give Sam a little bit of credit, at least over the last season or so.
That, for me, was very Jamie, where he pushed through that crowd and just stood in front and just gave him that, like, smile. Just like, all right.
Smile was dorky as hell. But his look back at him was very full of pain. It was good. It was perfect.
Well, according to Diana, everyone loses their bowels and shits themselves when they get hung. So I was really pissed that there wasn't like a big thing to do.
It actually looked to me like there was something that I've seen it. I feel like there's something happened right when they put him down, and it did look like maybe he did something. And then, because there's people in the crowd kind of giggle, and I was like, did they just have him poop and it like coming out the side of his pants? I mean, I think it's there like infinitesimally like fast. There's something there.
Can someone go online and rewatch it and then
do frame by frame? I want to see if Hayes poops himself. It was kind of interesting, and somebody mentioned this on our blog site. They said that it was very convenient the way that they got rid of Hayes and Leslie in this one episode, so we don't have to deal with them anymore. I was like, that's true. We were all super done with them.
Literally bookend deaths. It was like, boom, boom. These characters, they're gone. They're done. Yeah. See you later. Like that.
They've done their service of helping us get the story a little bit farther.
And really horrific deaths. I mean, one was a hanging, and both had to do with the necks. One was a hanging, one was a slit to the throat. That was it.
Almost a perfect circle.
See, yeah. But that was a one, like literally for the other guy, it was only a 180. That's it. The circle wasn't complete. So Stephen Bonnet, you're a liar.
Yes.
The circle of life.
Let's talk about Stephen Bonnet and Ed Spiliers.
How do you say his name?
I don't know.
Is that it? I don't know.
Spears.
I just know it's the guy from Downton Abbey.
Right.
One of our commenters said that her husband was calling him poor man's Heath Ledger, which made me laugh.
Yes, that's so true.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is. Oh my gosh. And you know what?
Trying to place him.
Like The Patriot, when Heath Ledger was in The Patriot or something.
Yeah. He was very charismatic though. I mentioned this in my recap because, I don't like Stephen Bonnet when I read the book, but he is charming and he does have like a magnetism to him. And I appreciated that in this episode in a way that I don't appreciate when I'm reading the book.
I
think
appreciated
he's
the
good.
menace of him at the end more than I've ever appreciated in the book.
Mm-hmm. And I kind of actually miss, as much as I actually appreciate the way they ended the episode, and we'll talk about that eventually, and we're going to obviously talk about it a lot. I actually missed his reasoning, like his kind of like calm, collected. Look, I heard y'all talking about those gems while I was pretending to be in your wagon, and I had to have them. I mean, like he's got this calm, collected reasoning for why he's robbing them of everything that they have and why he's treating them this way, and even why he leaves them alive. Yeah. And with his murder of Leslie and then leaving Ian and Jamie and Claire, seemingly okay, you're missing like kind of his calculation and why he's doing what he's doing. And there's menace in that and his like kind of sociopathy. And I would have liked to have heard some of that.
Right. And for me, he's such a good, we haven't had a really good villain since Blackjack. So Blackjack was such a dynamic and very layered villain. He wasn't just a bad guy. There's so many layers to him. So this was
Who is the bad guy in season 3?
Who that's
Galus a little
Brianna? Bit. No, I'm joking.
I really think in some ways it's Claire. I think in the first section of season 3, the bad guy sometimes is Claire.
Yeah. And the notion of time and separation and everything. But we haven't really had a really good villain. And Stephen Bonnet is a very good villain. And sociopath is right, because a sociopath, which is very much, well, sit down with Professor Julie right now. A sociopath is one of those things that is thrown around in our culture way too much when a sociopath is somebody who is very much aware of what they do. They have reasons for what they do. They're very calm. And they really don't think, they do think, they think, but they think in the wrong ways. Everyone's like, oh, they don't think twice. Yeah, they do think twice, but it's about them. And for me, Stephen Bonnet is a sociopath, and he's such a rich character. An evil character and a rich character. And I felt like towards the end, you're right. He was that sociopath.
Yeah.
But in the very beginning, I didn't really feel it.
Yeah. I think it'll be interesting to see how Ed plays him, because I hate the character in the book. And I think I visualize the character as an older man who, like, I just did not, he wasn't as charismatic to me in the book. He was just vile the entire time.
I wonder if that's because you knew ahead of time what he was going to do.
I don't know that I knew ahead of time. I didn't know that he was going to rape her. I knew something was going to happen with Claire, but not Brianna. Spoiler. Yeah. But I think Ed plays him much younger, more charismatic. There's, it'll be interesting how they play out the why and if they give any sort of like backstory there.
Yeah. I'm actually not looking forward to the next episode because he won't be in it.
What's the next episode?
The next episode is essentially River Run.
Oh.
Where they meet Jocasta and spend time there. And I think the major danger of next week is going to be them freeing the slave who's on the meat hook. There's like a slave who gets meat hooked. And I think they save him and Claire fixes him and stuff. And I think they get like a mob comes after them for that. I think that's their major danger next week.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, because that was the big thing with them, like staring out the window, and there's a group of white men looking like last year's the
Charlottesville gang.
With the
need some tiki torches
and some Costco outfits.
I need to go watch the teaser because I did not see it on the screening after the screening episode. I have to go back because I'm still laughing about this tweet. But Vicky Fraser said the bad guy in season 3 is Matthew B. Roberts. That's literally, I feel like we should just give you a prize.
Oh my God.
We do have a prize tonight.
We do have a prize.
You get to win one of the season 3 tote bags, and that might be the winning tweet. Even though we don't know, it's not normally a meritocracy. Normally it's just random, but that might win.
Because it's all season 3?
Yes.
Oh no, season 4. I'm sorry, the season 4 tote. The one from New York Comic Con. We have one for somebody tonight. So stick around to the end and you can get it. But yeah, he is the bad guy in season 3 and every season thereafter.
Crying,
gosh.
laughing.
Oh, poor Matthew Roberts. He just wants to take his pictures.
Wait, who said that?
Vicky
Fraser?
Vicky Fraser.
I retweeted
loves
it
it.
on TN if anyone
Thank you,
needs
Vicky.
to.
You made Nikki cry.
You did. I'm glad I put this makeup on 10 minutes ago.
Gosh. I'm glad this kettle
Oh.
corn is as greasy as it is. Keeping my lips moist. So yeah, let's get into Jamie and Claire in this episode. My first observation of Jamie and Claire in this episode is how young they look.
Yes.
Oh, right.
It's amazing.
And the fact that there's just no effort to age them anymore. None.
No, nothing.
It's
It's amazing what a green screen will do for a aging couple.
Her complexion is as dewy as the day she was born.
Yes.
He has no gray. He's
Mm-mm.
gone back to like sometimes super dark red hair, sometimes not. And I think, I'm going to dispense, me personally, not everybody has to do this. I'm going to dispense with like the wig, like complaints, because I can't do it anymore. It's never
Right.
going to be good. It's
No.
when y'all used to do on Letters to Twilight, do Accept It Now. Bella's cabinets are not going to be yellow. We need to just accept it now.
Now his bangs are going to look like shit.
Yeah, his
It's
hair is going to
it's
look
a
terrible.
clipping.
Problem,
It's
though,
literally
is
a
that
clipping.
him look like shit. It makes him look not attractive.
No.
So it makes me I'm not all horny when I'm watching their sex scene. 'Cause
No.
all I can think is he's just not good looking right there.
I can appreciate that. I don't want to be horny watching those sex scenes.
All I wanted when they were having sex is for her just to grab the tricorn hat and just to put it back
Put it
on
on.
him.
Or just
Wow.
like rub her fingers like through his hair, like push it back in passion,
Yeah.
just so it gets out of the way.
And
Yeah.
he just
Grab onto it.
yeah.
See what happens. when
He
you grab
touches
it.
her hair a lot. I watched it. And I think
Mhm.
some of it was for camera angles because he kept pulling her hair back over her
Right.
shoulder so you could see her face.
Yeah.
But
And I
it's
was
just
like,
as
oh, good,
simple-
Sam.
It's just as simple as this. And as somebody who's growing out her bangs, again, it's just this. That's all you have to do. That's all
Yeah.
you have to do.
Or you could get just like one little
do
tiny
this.
bun.
Or
But yeah,
there's just ways to just. But yeah, I think you're right. We have to let go of the hair.
You have to let him look like shit? No.
well, no, but there's nothing we can do
hair.
about it. We've
The
been
hair.
telling them.
No.
We've been telling them and telling them and telling them since the first season what to do with his hair, and they have ignored it. And there is
They
no
haven't
point.
just ignored it, they've made it worse.
I know.
It's
How
the
did-
fact that as Jamie's bangs never grow. Are those all his baby hairs just all coming like flip?
Like,
No. See, back in the day, they had Scotch tape because he's Scottish, and then he would put the Scotch tape there, and he would cut it with his scissors.
Like that. And then
I mean-
curl it and curl
the
it.
sad thing is that the season, whatever this is, 4 promo, he had gorgeous hair. It was
Yeah.
perfectly coiffed. I was like, oh my God, this is a return to form. This
Yeah.
is back to season 1 hair. And then we get the clip-in perm bang. Like
Because
episode
that
1.
promo was done post-season after
Post.
he had cut his hair.
That-
They didn't
that
bother with the
promo-
wig.
that
The wig
promo
people had
was-
gone home.
That promo was after the spy who dumped me.
Yeah.
There.
After someone from Hollywood had
Yeah.
thought, hey, maybe let's give him something that looks a little
And if you're wondering what
attractive.
he is talking about, she is talking about this hair right here.
Right.
That hair.
Yes, girl, y'all.
Sam's hair.
Sam's
That's
actual
Sam's hair.
Yep.
And I know that he doesn't want to keep dyeing it red. And it's hard to keep like continuity
Right.
with colors as you go and roots. And I don't know why anybody would be talking about roots right now, but like, I understand that it's hard to get continuity of hair. And I understand why they're doing the bangs on him, because his forehead is so prominent that if they were to do the regular wig that they're doing for everybody else, right? And it's kind of parted in the center and it just kind of goes behind their ears. It would be it would be even more distracting because his forehead is so big.
Right.
So they're doing the bangs so they don't have to worry about his hairline. and how bad how hard it would be to fit the hairline in his real hairline into a wig hairline because his hairline is so far back. So that's why they're doing the bangs.
Sad.
But it still sucks, and I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Accept it now. Hashtag accept it now.
But in regards to that,
I
don't know. In regards to that love scene, I mean, I didn't think it was a bad love scene. It was very
hot,
sweet and hot, and it showed like you said in your recap, Beth. It showed a beginning, a middle, and an end. It wasn't fade to black. It was fade to orgasm.
Yeah,
so,
I kept worrying that Stephen Bonnet was just going to jump out of a bush, so I could not really enjoy it. But it looked good.
It did look.
People have noticed strange things about it. People are like talking about like how the birds quit chirping, or like there's no more night sounds, and then like the background is super black, and like they're on a soundstage, like they're not really in North Carolina, and I don't know why the birds stopped chirping. It's nighttime. I don't know. They're asleep, but like.
That's what you noticed when
you're
watching that?
I liked the continuity of a couple kind of washing each other, and my house, we're about to have a tornado, guys, so if I'm gone, just like, could you shut that door, dude? Anyway, so loud. I'll hear we have like hailstorms coming on, but anyway.
I thought it was someone washing their hands.
No, that's our rain. It's like there's like hail right now. Yeah.
Be safe.
Send it to California.
I know, we need that.
Seriously. But no, back to what you're saying, the continuity of the scene, of the the relationship. Yeah. And that's
scenes don't start like that. They don't start out with like pillow talk and then, now it leads into arousal, and then it leads into sex, and then all the way through to completion. Like, you don't see sex scenes like that. Like, they have a purpose. Like, somebody's life is going a certain direction because they had sex with this person. You see just like a tiny snippet of it. And seeing the whole thing is different and refreshing. And I don't like their sex scenes because they make me uncomfortable, but I appreciate it for what it is.
You mean
you guys? They really make you uncomfortable?
Yes. I mean, I might be the only. Becca and I both, every time, because we usually see them together for the first time. Somehow that happens. Like, every time we're sitting there together and we're like, so uncomfortable right now. We're just always uncomfortable. I don't know.
I like them, but I'm a Scorpio. Scorpio season, baby. Woo!
I liked it. I thought it was sweet. It was Jamie and Claire. That is a Jamie and Claire sex scene for me completely. So, and then the discussion afterwards, the notion where she's talking about America and he's leaning back, that for me kind of took me out of it.
I hate that scene.
Oh, I liked it.
Yeah.
I hate everything about it.
I just think because of how he's laying down, maybe it looks like, I don't know, like
that one over on the mountain, on the ridge with the bad green screen of the valley. Okay.
Yeah. And it was like, come child, let me talk to you about the future of America.
I like the sentiment though.
Yeah. I do.
I don't, whatever happened in the background, I wasn't thinking about, but I like the sentiment, and I think it leads into them deciding to stay there.
Right.
I don't know.
Also, it's that notion. It reminds that Claire has to remind Jamie about Brianna. So that's what I was like.
We have a child.
You gave me a lot. A child,
That part was so clunky. Like, well, we can leave a bit of ourselves here because this is where Brianna will grow up. And I'm like, that is dumb as fuck.
If my presence can be felt by her later, and I'll just be like,
really?
She's already been born. Right?
Do we need? My thing was, do we need to see her again? Do we? Do we really need to?
We don't.
Let's just think about her in past tense.
That's how I liked it, and that's what I enjoyed most about this episode.
She never shows up.
Yay!
I kept wondering if they would like shoot to the future. Like,
no, thank God, no.
I feel like we're not going to see them until midway through the season again, and I'm a little annoyed about it.
Why? Because you want to?
Because I actually like Roger. I like the idea of the storyline. I don't like her.
Let's take a vote and see what people think. I think they'll show up in episode 3.
In future?
How many episodes
Or
are there?
Bree and Roger. I think we'll see Bree and Roger by episode 3. I don't think we'll see them next week. I think we'll see them in 3, but I don't think they're going to wait until mid-season
You don't think?
to show us.
They need to show them sooner because of how much they've been trotting them out for press. So that makes me
Right.
think they're like a much bigger part of this
Mhm.
season, hopefully.
I'm still conflicted. I'm really conflicted about whether or not I want to see them.
I want to see him because maybe it's because like after that, not last year's Comic-Con, but the year before that, like we really did all like, this guy is amazing. He's a really great guy, a good actor.
Yeah. Well, okay, they're gonna have to be around because they've got the Blood of My Blood episode is coming up like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
If they haven't established that they're still in the world and that they're traveling and what they're doing, spoilers, but they're not happening back before season 5 or before episode 5, then people are gonna be lost. So I think they'll show up by 3. I'd like to know what other people think, but I have not seen ahead, so I don't know. So that's not an educated guess.
Okay,
That's
we
just
should do a Twitter poll. We should put like 3 options: episode 3,
Never
mid-season, and then hopefully season 7 that hasn't been announced yet
when it gets canceled.
So what do you guys think of young Ian in this episode? He's not in it a whole lot.
I liked him in this episode. I thought he was. I mean,
I like him.
my
Looks
favorite
terrible.
He grew on me.
I like him in this episode.
I liked him in
the
this episode.
doggy. He shits on his mom because he's like, she can be complaining about it across the ocean.
I love they have a little pair of like elementary school scissors.
Amy, are you gonna cut some Jamie bangs right now?
I have so much sewing shit on my desk that I just start playing with things.
She's just cross stitching while we're talking.
Yes.
I'm eating kettle corn, so to each their own.
There we go. I'm with Nikki. The look of him can be kind of like
terrible.
But I really did
big bad
appreciate that discussion between Jamie and young Ian about his conflicting feelings. Like I was raped, but I was turned I was turned on, and I thought that was a great conversation because I feel like that's not what I can't speak for every victim. I can't speak for victims or anything, but I feel like that's what sometimes a victim can go through is that feeling of, especially a male when who's been raped, that feeling of that's what I went through, and I didn't like it, but my body liked it.
There's a scene in Wally Lamb, She's Come Undone, where she's a rape victim and she's talking to her therapist character, and she's ashamed because she had an orgasm while she was being raped, and the therapist was like, an orgasm is just friction. That's just your body. And it was like, but these feelings of shame. So I felt like that was a very, very good scene.
Yeah.
Very, very well done.
Yeah. And as much as I hate that that's a part of to be honest, do we need to know that about young Ian for him to go forward? Do we need to focus on the fact that happened to him? And I can't remember how detailed the situation with Galus is in season 3, but I would prefer to not have to go there again, because we're going to be dealing with rape again and again, and I'd rather not do that. But I really appreciate the fact that they do give room for the victims to have trauma and for them to work through their trauma and figure out how they're going to go forward with it, and it's not swept under the rug.
Right. And it gives Jamie an opportunity to open up about his experiences, but still make it about young Ian. It wasn't, well, let me tell you about but it was, it allowed them to have it. Obviously, Jamie has, the sympathy, the empathy for this young boy, but still giving him his own space to feel those feelings.
Yeah. And I like that Jamie is Daddy Jamie in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
I like it when he is capable and smart, and even just approaching Ian kind of as a skittish animal, though his posture approaching him is appropriate for that moment. And I appreciate that about Sam's acting and the direction and just the way that it was written. Good scene.
Right.
Good job, guys.
I agree. More of those two together.
Yeah. More Rolo.
More, yeah. And one person I really wished I could have seen more in this was Fergus. I really I love Fergus. I really do love Fergus, and I just wish we had seen more of Marceline and especially Fergus.
I feel like they set up for them to kind of go into the. We won't see them very much.
No,
yeah, and they're not a big part of Drums of Autumn, which
No.
I was a little sad about when we read it. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
they're kind of just over on their ridge with William. Is that the kid's name? I can't even remember.
Yeah. So
They're
I just
out making whiskey,
Making the whiskey and the mash. That's
I just
pretty
really
much what they
liked.
do.
I just love. I like both of those actors, and it was just.
I like them too a whole lot.
yeah.
Lauren Lyle might be my favorite
I
out
love
of
her.
all the secondary female characters.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think she's great.
I love her on social media too. It's not
Yeah.
annoying. It's not over the
No.
top. It's interesting.
Yeah.
She's funny.
So,
she's smart.
yeah.
She's not trying too hard.
I just wanted to be like, miss you guys.
I know.
Don't leave. Don't leave.
Yeah.
Bye. So I just wish we had seen more of them.
Yeah.
And everything. So oh well. At least they didn't get 180'd in the throat. So there we go.
Well, let's talk about that major ending because it seems to be, I mean, I would say based on everything I've read, a full dividing line, 50-50.
Yeah.
People hated it. People loved it.
Really?
I think so. I don't think that there's anybody that's just like, it was fine. I mean, I really think people are like, that was terrible. Or they should have used instrumental, not Ray Charles or whatever.
Yeah, I was watching it going, I like the idea of this. I hate this. I like this. I hate this. Like
Yeah,
there was
100%.
no, I'm just fine with this. I like the idea of how they sped it up, what happened. It felt scary. But then there was that, was it Ray Charles? It felt like it was like the karaoke version of Ray Charles singing. It didn't even sound like it.
Yeah. I was when I first saw it and heard it, I went, no. And it was so jarring to me. And at first I was like, I would have preferred, we have the banjo at the beginning. They always redo the flippin' title song. So why couldn't they have done that in that kind of time period, but still have the same instrumental version of it? When I watched it a second time, I was like, okay, all right. And I see what they're doing. So
again, I think what they're doing is pretty obvious.
Right.
I mean, and that's the other thing. Like,
heavy-handed. They love a good.
So heavy-handed, and the fact that they're like trying to explain it on Twitter or wherever. Is
Oh, they are.
I need to look. Like Meryl was on being like, it's not political. It's meant to just show the juxtaposition. Which could you all quit using the word juxtaposition? Like, okay, yes, I've used it like a million times, but I was a literature major. Like, just say like the comparison. Everybody's using the word juxtaposition, like you created it.
Dichotomy, guys, just throw that
right.
one in. You haven't hit
the parallelism of this song and
the dualism.
Well, I saw somebody, and I'm going to correct this person. I saw somebody on Twitter say, well, that was probably because Claire is still of the modern time. And okay, first, Ray Charles, that song, America the Beautiful, was released in 1972. Yeah, nerd card for me. So it wasn't a part of Claire's time.
No.
So.
Can I interrupt and just say to both Julie and Nikki, y'all are fucking wrong. I loved it.
I didn't say it was. I said
I hated it. I loved it. I appreciated
it. I really liked it for two reasons. One is I love anachronistic uses of music in historic TV.
I do too, but I think they do it wrong.
Let me finish.
You go. Go.
Two, I really liked, what I liked about it was the scene when they were on the boat and Claire was like, oh, you shouldn't work an old slave to death. And we went through this whole thing of like, I'm not really a slave. I've bought my freedom. And it was almost like, please don't let them make this into that bad Mel Gibson movie with the real Heath Ledger where, we don't, we love working for him. We don't really consider ourselves slaves. He's just such a good master. I was like, please don't let it be this way. And I felt like it was such a nice way to kind of turn it on its head. Like it could have gone in the direction of false, faux, this sense, but all the people of color are really happy to be there. And then it really kind of turned it on its head about the ugliness about what America really is. And I liked not having any dialogue, just the fear, the silent screaming, not hearing Stephen Bonnet. I feel like it added to the menace. And I just thought it was I enjoyed it all.
No,
on the first episode.
Yeah,
I agree with you on that. I really do like that they didn't rely on dialogue. I liked the idea of contrasting that song with the ideal of what America was and what is really happening. Love it. I just feel like they always fall short in their choices. Like they did it last season where they chose, whatever those modern songs that they use, they just can't figure it out.
Right.
Like a show like Handmaid's Tale knows how to use a modern song within a period piece.
I did like it when they used that cover of the Bob Dylan song when Jamie was leaving the Lake District.
Yeah.
Hellwater. Yeah. My thing with this one, and the reason I'm okay with the version that they used, is because of what Amy was talking about. Like you've just had this kind of pastoral scene with this freed slave who's perfectly happy to be like the best riverman in the, on the water or whatever. And it is kind of worrisome that they're going to go into Pollyanna Little House on the Prairie land and make you feel like America is this idealistic place. And so they turned that on its head, not just with the menace of Stephen Bonnet coming and hurting and robbing them, but also for the fact that you're listening to America the Beautiful, for beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of gray, whatever it is, from Ray Charles, who's an African-American man who is definitely not far removed at all from the civil rights movement, but not even that far removed from slavery. And to hear his voice give voice to those lyrics on top of kind of turning on its head the ideas about what America will become and all of that kind of stuff, leading into the fact that we're about to go to a freaking plantation for quite some time, was one of the smarter things that they've done.
Right. Yeah. And I agree with that. No, I completely, like I said, the first time I saw it, it was, oh God, no. Yeah. And then it was second time, now that you expected it, you kind of had to like think about, okay, what was the reasoning behind it? And like you said, it's obvious what the reasoning, but then to take it apart and see, you're right. It's the notion of the former slave who was able to be free, and then knowing that there's a long way to go in the country, and still continue to be a long way to go in our country.
Well, it's like the reason. Go ahead. When you have, white people even today saying like America has never been this terrible and this violent, and people on Black Twitter are like, you say this and we're right here, like
right.
There needs to be a reckoning, a discussion about what America is.
Yeah,
totally. I love the idea in theory. I don't like how it was rolled out, and I think
it's jarring on purpose, though.
Right, it is.
That is it. I think
it's because it's such an iconic song too. It's that notion of, and it's just so beautiful. The composition of it, how he put it together, is such a beautiful song, and it's so iconic in our culture.
I think I would love it. This is the perfect show to do that for. A time traveling from modern era, characters going back. This is the perfect show with which to do that kind of trick, or that sort of way of bringing those two times together. They have never done it well. And they should have had an amazing music supervisor, an amazing music editor from season 1 really guiding that. And they should have brought it in from season 1 to here. And I think it really would have paid off.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. And I think I remember the very second, maybe the second or first episode, I can't remember, the first time Claire's in Leuk.
Mhm.
and she hears some sort of 40s tune that she had been listening to recently, like in the hotel. And I was
Right.
like, oh shit, man, they're going to have some stuff going on in her brain
Right.
that she's remembering from her,
Yeah.
real life. And it's going to be imprinted on what she experiences. And they just never took
They
that
biff
through.
No. No.
And it would have
Or-
been very cool had they. You're
Well,
totally
we
right
got the
about that.
Batman theme. Come on.
Oh, they did
Oh,
have the
God.
Batman theme. Oh,
Yeah, I mean, it's just because they pretty much wait until season 3 to even try to start employing that technique.
Right.
Do it in 1. This is a time travel series. You should
Right.
be
Yeah.
doing something like that
And-
to really remind
like
us.
and having that song, like I said, or like even I don't know, like another song.
Have
where having,
Galis like humming something.
or
that's-
Brianna as a child, like humming "This land is your land."
Yeah.
You know that.
I mean, I
that
think
song.
how cool would it have been if like Claire thinks that she hears Galis humming something
Ugh,
from like the 30s. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mhm.
exactly.
Like what is that? You know what I mean? Like there are a lot of different ways that they could have
Right.
incorporated stuff like that. Not
Who's
just
the
music, but
music
other stuff.
supervisor from The Sopranos? That show had the best music ever.
Yeah, there's so many amazing, talented
The guy from
supervisors
The
out there.
Americans. Yeah.
Really
A fail on their part.
quick though, I'm gonna kind of switch gears because I want to talk about a little bit because everybody said, oh, there was no rape in this scene, that and I know some people, I'm not kidding you, I thought he was going to rape Claire in this when he
Yeah.
was, but the fact that he stuck his finger, and they did it kind of slowly, he stuck his finger in her mouth. I was like, oh God, that was such a violation and just so disturbing. And then to have it play out with the song in the back, I was just like, oh
Yeah.
God.
And it's strange too, like as just narratively, obviously in the book, he gets Frank's ring.
Right.
Brianna
Right.
recognizes Frank's ring later on. It causes a
Right.
whole lot of hoopla.
Right.
And now it's Jamie's ring that he gets. And
Right.
there's
I'm wondering.
it's weird because, romantically, Claire, in the show at least, Claire isn't giving a rat's about Frank. Not really. And so
Right.
being sentimental about Frank's ring is not going to be, plus it's a plain gold band. It's not really recognizable very much. So, I mean, would we really recognize a plain gold band on a,
Right.
on a gambling table? So Jamie's band would be more recognizable, but also super duper worthless. It's like an
Worthless.
iron
Exactly.
key.
Worthless.
And so
it was really interesting, the change.
Well,
Yeah.
I was like, once again, it's that notion of keeping Frank still in the storyline. She still has Frank's ring. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like,
I
Yeah.
will refer people back to the ring controversy and how horrible it was when he made that iron key ring. If you want to go check out the controversy, the post is called "One Ring to Rue Them All" on that'snormal.com, and you'll really enjoy it. But the point is, like, had it been the silver ring, like the actual one from the book, it would have had more value. So this one's just coming back to bite them on the butt, I think. This is what they get for not doing the real thing.
As creepy as it was him, getting it out of her mouth. I mean, my first thought was, and they would never do this in the show because you couldn't damage your heroine, but like I feel like a realistic version of that, he would just cut off her fingers.
Yeah.
well, that's
Or make her
that's,
throw up. Like she's swallowing them, right? Like it make her
Right.
throw up.
and that's why he grabs her throat and like to stop.
Chokes her.
He chokes her, and he essentially takes Jamie's ring, and she spits out Frank's ring.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
And her face when she figures out it's his ring and not Jamie's was so good.
Yeah, it was.
I know, and it was just like,
Yeah.
but is it sad
truthfully,
that
Claire wouldn't have a preference, I
No.
don't think.
Yeah. Well, she has Jamie right. But is it sad that during that whole fight scene, I went, "Oh, Rollo!" Like went over the boat.
Oh,
and I was
yeah,
like,
don't
"Oh!"
get the dog!
I was like, "Oh, the dog or the wolf, whatever." I was like, "Ah!" So I was caring more about Rollo and what was happening to Rollo than I was about the guy who got 180'd in the throat. So
Well, that was the whole point. They're getting rid of Leslie so he didn't have to worry about him anymore.
right, but I cared about the wolf. I was like, "Save the wolf!" So.
I want Rolo to be a little bit more menacing than he was.
Yeah.
He's like
He was-
super cute. I want one, and it's not really how
he
he's
was
supposed to be.
he was really coiffed perfectly well and had amazing, like, he was trained so well. I've had my dog for now about 11 years, and I still can't make her follow me. Like, Ian was like, "Come on, Rolo," and he's like, "Do do do," and I was like, "That's not happening."
That's because Ian is confident and he's gonna get that pose because he looks dorky, but he's funny and he knows things.
Yeah.
So
Have you noticed how we and subsequently nobody else is really talking at all about the scene in the governor's mansion when they have dinner and any of that? Like that is, it's like it didn't exist and didn't happen.
Don't purr.
I mean, he sets the ruby and like the guy's looking at it and we just don't. It's like the only thing I remember is Governor Tyrone had really nice stockings on.
right.
And
or that fireplace where they were talking. It was really nice.
Really nice. Yeah.
But that was it. And the fact
and
that
like
Claire
the girl was trying to like make Claire feel like she was ugly and stupid because the guys were giving her attention. She was like, nice hair.
Yeah.
which just goes to show you Mean Girls existed back then as well.
Of course.
Yeah. And that girl's teeth were like gray. So
yeah. But like literally watching that, I had to like rewind that multiple times because every time that scene started, I would like watch it and then I would grab my phone and I would look up on like stuff on Pinterest. Like
it's kind of a sign of how
fall decor
is not. That's the perfect sign. I'm reaching for my phone.
Yeah, and then I would look up and I go, oh, shit, the scene's over. Oh, okay. And then I would have to rewind it and then be like, oh, it's okay, it's Jamie wanting land. And the whole point was to Claire to remind him, like, at some point in 8 years there's a war and this land could be reclaimed. So good luck.
And even them like in their hotel room getting ready, she's like, oh, is this too much mutton dressed as lamb? Like, it's 100% what I'm here for when I'm reading the books, but watching the show, I'm like, move along, please.
Right.
I do not care.
Right.
I always find it crazy. Like they've been shipwrecked. There's no money to their name. They have this one stone, and then they just appear in this beautiful finery at a random ass party, and you're like, how the hell did that happen? Like, not that I want that kind of detail at all, but I just think
you
in
got
those
that in the
terms,
book.
like,
I feel like they would talk about, I was able to scrounge this little piece of ribbon that I'm going to tie around my neck so I don't look totally
right. But some like little, like just a little explanation would have just done because like,
his like embroidered vest was like, Christian
that was
Dior.
legit.
Exactly. This was
like how much of the shipwreck did they
did
they like get back?
Exactly.
Bananas.
I mean, one night they're burying a friend, they're like knee deep in like a burial ground, and the next night they're at a beautiful like dinner party
with silk on.
And you're just like, how's this happening? So, but at the same time, if they were to go into that, I'd be like on the show going, it's got boring. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like I'm just bored. I'm bored talking about it. I mean, like that, just like, it's not important, but
the whole episode felt like, oh, we got to talk about Hayes.
Yeah.
And then we gotta, bury him and have this like tender young Ian moment. And then we gotta do this one thing. And then we gotta shove in Stephen Bonnet somehow to get the story rolling. And then it's an episode. Like it felt just cobbled together. It wasn't really interesting storytelling.
I would love for them to really throw the book out and let themselves just kind of go with a real storyline. And a through line and see how well they do. That's kind of the biggest issue is just like, you're trying so hard to stick. Like, I think they even put the sex scene that was outside was meant to be in place of the rock scene that's later on where Jamie comes across her masturbating, which is not iconic because it's an outdoor sex scene. That's not why anybody cares about that scene. It has nothing to do with Jamie standing in the river watching her masturbate. It's the fact that afterwards he's like, you really do that? Like they learn things about each other and it's adorable. And they talk about being alone. And then she's like worried about him going back to Scotland and trying to keep him from going back to Scotland because she's seen this gravestone. There's like this whole thing of why that scene is important. But if you're just focusing on it as a sex scene, like we need to make sure we have an outdoor sex scene so that everybody knows we did that one that they like, you make no sense. And
Right.
it doesn't narratively like fit in with anything that's important. She's sitting there talking about them getting ripped apart from each other.
Right.
And the truth is they haven't experienced any real dangerous violence since the episode started. So you're just kind of lost going, why is she so fraught all of a sudden? It just, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just need to do a true adaptation and stop hugging the book. Like,
Exactly.
get over it and just write a really great TV show. If you wrote a great TV show, I would forgive all terrible bangs.
Yes, absolutely.
That's it.
Okay. Well, we've been talking for an hour.
We did
Anything
it.
Anybody has to say?
No, we talked an hour about an episode we all went about. So I think that's an accomplishment, ladies. And to that, I drink more. So
Yes, good for you. I mean, looking forward to next week and Maria Doyle Kennedy because I think she's fantastic.
Right.
I'm looking forward to seeing her, and we'll see how it goes. We'll be back here next week, but for now, we have to pick a winner of tonight's Brave New World tote bag that Becca will send you. I think it needs to go to Vicky Fraser.
I
All that.
V
All right.
Fraser, please send us an email, admin@thats-normal.com if you want this tote. If you don't, let us know. We'll give it to someone else.
We'll give it to somebody else.
You
We had
earn
lots
it.
of you.
That was the freaking best tweet of the year, maybe.
That's right.
And guys, I want to tease out just a little bit about Hangoutlander swag. We give it away live. If you're listening on the podcast, I'm sorry. We're not giving you anything away. You need to watch live with us. And if you talk to us, if you hashtag within you're in the running. That's all you have to really do. And we have the coolest piece of swag. I'm not kidding when I say that it's exclusive. I made sure that there was nobody else getting this piece of particular swag at New York Comic Con this year. You're going to want it. I don't know what episode we're going to give it away on. Probably when we've exhausted other pieces of swag, but maybe next week because we're weird like that. You want it. I'm not even going to tell you what it is because it's so freaking cool. Okay? Just join us live every week if you want to win. So if you thought that you might want something that's Outlander-esque, you need to join us. You need to join us live. Quit listening to the podcast. Join us live. Be here. Talk to us. Anyway.
Tweet us
That
ahead
was
of
it.
time, too.
Yeah.
You can do that. Doesn't have to be during the show.
Yep.
Absolutely. All right, guys. That's it for Hangoutlander. Me and Whitney say goodnight. I forgot to tell y'all I was wearing my Whitney shirt.
It should be America the Beautiful.
Yeah,
Oh,
it should have been a Ray Charles.
Come on, Amy.
It should have been a Ray Charles shirt.
Well,
I
she
don't
did
like
the
him.
like, she did the
Spacious skies. Okay. All right.
Good night,
everybody. We will
everyone.
see you next week, same time, same place. Bye.